Now that you have seen the different variable subtypes, conditional statements, loops, arrays, and functions, subprocedures, as well as string functions, which we recently covered. Now it's time to write some basic VBScript programs. You have to do your screen as well, and this will help you to improve your programming skills. Now the prerequisites have already been taught to you, so it's very important that you go through them, and you have to be very clear with the basics in order to start with the programming. So we begin with the VBScript in order to find whether a number is even number or an odd number. Okay. So what is an even number? Even number is any number which is any integer which is divisible by 2, whereas odd number is any integer which is not divisible by 2. So how to write the program in order to find this thing? So what we'll do is, first of all, we'll declare integer as the sub variable has to be integer. So let's name it as dem_inum. Okay. And as a good programming practice, let's put option explicit at top. You already know what it means. Now what we'll do is we'll take the input from the user. So inum equal to cint and input box. So what this input box does is it takes the input from the user, and whatever the text is inside it, this will be displayed to user. Okay, so enter an integer. It's the text which will be displayed to user, and whatever text is entered by user, that is the return value for this function. So this will, and then we have to convert it into integer. Suppose if the user enters anything in decimal, then cint will convert it into integer. So the output of this will be an integer which will be assigned to variable inum. Okay. Now after this, we have to use a simple conditional statement in order to find the answer. So if our number mod 2 equal to 0, then so inum mod 2 is the remainder when inum is divided by 2. So if inum is integer, so the remainder will be 0, because even integer divided by 2 will give you remainder 0, and therefore let's say message box number is even, and then simply in the else part, if part fails, then the else part will be executed, and message box number is even will be displayed. Sorry, odd is displayed. So this is a very simple program just to kick off with the programming. So let's run this and see what happens. So the first thing is enter an integer. It will take from the user, let's say 55.6. okay, the number is even because 55.6, when it's given to cint, it becomes 56, and this 56 is saved in inum, and 56 mod 2 is 0, and therefore the number is even. Okay, so this was first program. I hope you are practicing at your end as well, so that you get a hang of it. Now the second program which we'll do is swapping two integers or two numbers. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just comment this part so that we can start with the new program. Okay, so our program is swap two numbers. So again what we'll do is we'll declare two integers, dem_inum1 and dem_inum2. Okay, these will be the numbers from where we'll get the input, and let's say we again enter an integer or a number. Okay, let's say enter a number. Okay, now basically what we are doing is we are just swapping the two numbers. That is inum will initially have some other value, and inum2 will have some other value, and once the swapping takes place, the numbers will be exchanged. Inum2, so let's say enter number 1, and in second case enter number 2. When we just display them after entering the number, let's say just display it, message box, and anything in string has to be in double quotes. Number, num1, value is, and a num1 value is the value in inum1. Okay, so you have to just paste the variable over here. Now as I said that inum1 is having is a variable and it's having some value. So in order to concatenate a variable to a string, you have to just put and in between, okay, ampersand, and there won't be any double quotes for a variable. If you put double quotes over here, what QTP will interpret as inum is a text and it's not a variable, therefore it will literally consider inum as a text, and therefore it will print num1 val is inum1, which we don't want. We just want the value of this variable to be printed. Okay, so num1 val is this inum1, and what you can do is again ampersand, and you'll write another string and inum and num2 val is, so whatever is displayed in num2. Okay, so fair enough, simple. So once we have displayed, now what we'll do is we'll swap these numbers. Now if you had learned any form of coding, Java, C++ or any language, so you have come across this swapping of two numbers. It's a very common program wherein people start with the learning the programming by using these examples. So what we normally do is we put the number from any one of the variable into a temporary variable. Okay, so let's name that variable as itemp. Okay, so what we do is in itemp we'll put some, it's a temporary variable, so for temporary purpose we'll put the value from inum1 into itemp. Now what I'll do is once my value is duplicated, that is inum1 is itemp is having the same value as inum1, so I can just change the value in inum1 because I have a record of it in itemp. So what I can do is I can assign the new value to inum1, which is equal to inum2, right? So once this is done, inum1 has got the swap value of inum2, so similarly even inum2 has to get the swap value of inum1. And where will it get the value from inum1? Because inum1 value has already been changed to inum2, so inum2 will get the value of inum1 from itemp. Okay, since itemp is holding that value, so you have to just write inum2 equal to itemp. Now what we'll do is we'll again display the same message, and let's see if there is any difference. So when I run this test, okay, so let's say first number we are putting 33, second number we are putting 55. Okay, so as you can see, it is displayed num1 value is 33, num2 value is 55. Now let's see what happens after we swap these values in these two variables. Now you'll see it is showing first value is num1 value is 55, num2 value is 33. So as you can see, we have swapped the values from the two variables.